Everybody, Spaceman Spiff here with another episode of Spaceman Climbs. And this episode we're going to be doing a elf versus human. I'm against StopClick, who is a guy I've played against several times. He's a good player. He's up here in the North Spawn, and he knows that I'm streaming. So I was actually streaming at the time of this game. So some of you might have seen it already. I apologize for that. Either way, I think it's kind of a fun one. I'm looking forward to casting it, and we're definitely going to watch from my perspective. But what I know about StopClick is that he tends to do some kind of weird stuff. He doesn't play completely standard all the time. I know he likes to stream. I know he's got, he's got some character. It's not always the same thing coming from him. He's also apparently watching swimming lessons and playing Warcraft on his phone. So if he is on his phone during the course of this game, I'm very surprised. He is much better at playing Warcraft on his phone than I am. But the fact remains, I think it's a good game. So I'm doing a standard build. I've got my altar, my moonwell. I built my altar late though and started my Ancient of War early because I wanted to try to power creep this with my neutral hero. And as many of you know, I am very bad at power creeping, especially camps like this where you have to do your timings right with movement because the wisps are going to get ensnared by the trolls, because your hero is going to take extra damage because it's very easy to lose your tree when your wisps are ensnared. They can't be repairing. So it's a little bit dicey that I'm going for this, but I wanted to try and get away with it because I'm going to be going for Panda first. And the Panda is just so vulnerable early game that if I'm not able to get him power crept up to level 2 or 3 pretty quickly, I could be in a weak spot, especially against human. So that's what's going on here. I build the first archer. I'm sending this wisp out to get my panda, and I will be power creeping this as soon as possible. I'm also going to get 2 archers just because, again, I'm not confident in my ability to creep this camp, so I wanted to overproduce, and I didn't want to block myself with my moonballs for food. So I have very few wood wisps right now. I sacrificed 2 in order to get my second archer, so I'm at 15. Normally you'd be at 15 with 1 archer, but I'm at 15 with 2. And 1 ensnare. No repairs. Still no repairs. Still no repairs. Ah, now I can start repairing. I think I'll pick up my panda very shortly. There he is. Still no repairs, and look at that. Look at that. I lose my Ancient of War for a level 3 troll trapper, and that is it. I'm also going to lose a wisp here. I might lose an archer. So this has been really bad. I immediately rebuild another Ancient of War because I just can't. I'm not going to be able to get through the early game against a human without an Ancient of War. I need that. I need something to keep me in the game. So this was a major loss for me, obviously. And I'm going to use it as just a further example of the fact that I'm not a professional player. I'm just doing some fun strategies on the Azeroth ladder and still able to win some games. So that's, again, what I want people to take away from my video here. Also, you might have noticed my Breath of Fire isn't showing up. My Ancient of War animations aren't showing up. Some of my buildings in general in production are not working properly right now, and it's driving me crazy. I don't know what happened. So I'll keep fiddling with that, but bear with me. I apologize that the Breath of Fire is not appearing. The health of the enemy units is going down, so it is working. It's just invisible fire, which is far more dangerous than visible fire for sure. So I'm creeping this out. I'm playing it safe now. I don't want to try and go here and lose everything. I know that a human player, especially StopClick, he could try and do some kind of run by. He could try and tower me. He could try and do something weird. So I don't want to run too far. I just want my panda to be near the base so that I can deal with any extended harassment that might be coming my way. And it looks like there is some, because we have 2 footmen here. I am going to be able to put some damage on them pretty quickly and push them away. But if I were not close to my base, these footmen could be a real pain for me. So he's probably gaining some experience on me. Oh, he's right here. He's level 2, so he's ahead. He didn't lose an Ancient of War. And he's coming to attack me. Big Breath of Fire at level 1 even, though. Catches a footman, so I now have level 2. I'm not too far behind in terms of experience. I don't have a lot of mana, but these moonwells are going to work for me. It's still early in the night, so I have no problem consuming the moonwells. So you see I consume that one first. I'm going to consume this one as well. And a big Drunken Flame. Easily push off this, or what am I trying to say? Easily push away this attack from stop click. So there go the 2 water elementals. I did 1 successful detonate, I believe. His footmen are now weak. He can't do a whole lot, even though it's just 3 archers. There's nothing he can do. So that's, you know, the Panda's strength in the early game, obviously, is that footmen quickly become obsolete. If you're able to survive long enough to get enough Moonwells, that you'll have a couple Breath of Fires. If you can get to level 3, so you have level 2 Breath of Fire, you're golden against footmen. But even then, or even without those things right now, I feel pretty confident. I'm able to push him back. My 3 archers, even if he has defense, it doesn't matter, because my damage output is coming from the Panda right now. So I come up here, I'm thinking about creeping this, trying to get the sentry ward kind of thing, but I don't think I'm going to be able to do it with my 4 archers. I'm going to take a ton of damage on my Panda if I go for it. So I ultimately decided instead to loop around and try and catch him, maybe creeping here or catch him here, which I did. And I have boots of speed now, so my Panda can move. So I think I'm going to get both footmen here, which is really nice. And I see that he's transitioning into rifles. So this is kind of interesting, right? Riflemen are not the standard. He's probably anticipating dryads are going to be coming his way. So I think that's why he's going for rifles. But, oh, I'm not tier 2 yet. I'm very, very behind in my tech because I lost my Ancient of War because I played safe early. So I'll save my tier 2 play for when we get there. It looks like he was trying to power creep something. I pull back a bit. Just do the dance. I don't want to take too much damage on my Panda. Then I see a Blood Mage with Flame Strike, which seems strange to me. The Blood Mage there makes a lot of sense for siphon mana. If you can take my mana away, the Panda kind of becomes just a big clumsy bear. But Flame Strike is iffy. He's not going to be able to get a lot of positioning on my archers. I'm not dealing a ton of damage with my archers right now. They're just going to run away every time anyway. So I think that might be a mistake on his part. Either way, I come in to push. I see mortar teams, so he's going for heavy blacksmith kind of units here. He's got a workshop, clearly. He's tier 2 only still. Looks like he might be trying to expand or power creep again. Either that or he's just trying to fend me off with just his militia. But this is kind of an opportunity for me because I know he's not around, so I'm going to be able to get a couple peasant kills. I'm going to be able to eventually force him to return home. He can't let my army stay alone in his base here. So ultimately I force him to teleport. He does teleport. I use Breath of Fire there for no real gain, and then I teleport out for absolutely no gain. So I could have just run away. Instead I teleported out, lost an archer, and he's going to be able to heal up quickly enough. I assume he's got a vault somewhere. He doesn't have a vault. Wow. He's building priests, but either way, he came out. I shouldn't have had to lose any archers there. I shouldn't have had to use my teleport, but I did. And now I've hit tier 2, and I'm immediately throwing down 2 Ancient of Winds. And I've got all these archers, so I know what everyone's already thinking, but I'm still going to leave it. I come to creep this, get some vengeance on these damn trolls. So one goes down, another goes down. I've got a healer now, so I'm going to just try and prioritize the healing on my Panda, who has finally hit level 3, so I'll finally be able to deal with footmen and casters pretty efficiently. Lose my Troll Shadow Priest. Again, I'm not the greatest player in the world. But I managed to creep this out. I'm halfway to level 4, I should say. Great item for my Panda. I'm leaving myself a little bit vulnerable right now because I don't have a teleport, but I thought I'd have enough time to run back. I saw his army. His army composition is not that maneuverable. I know he hasn't expanded. I know he hasn't expanded here as well. And if he were to teleport here, and then run all the way down with his squad of a couple riflemen and 2 heroes and a mortar team, I don't think he'd be able to deal a whole lot of damage to my base before I'm able to get back to my base at this point. So I think this is relatively safe play by me. I also wanted to creep out this gold mine just so that I have the option to expand at any point. I don't want to be caught in the mid to late game where my gold mine's running out and I don't have time to go and creep a gold mine. I want this to be free so that I can always come in and just expand without having to scout or without having to send units. So that's what's happening here. Back here, my Ancient of Winds are now completed. I'm at 36 of 70 food, so I've overproduced Moonwells. That was due to a fear of the push. I wanted the extra Moonwells so that I would have extra mana on my Panda so that I could push away any big human push. Because my number one fear at this point is definitely Spellbreakers, right? If he's going for Sorceresses, Spellbreakers, Priests, this could be a little bit tough. My hero obviously melts Sorceresses and Priests right now, but Spellbreakers he has a very hard time with. Archers don't do great against, so that's the biggest worry is Spellbreakers. Luckily for me, I don't think he's really been going them yet. He committed to the Rifle Mortar Team Priest kind of thing so far, which is definitely a mistake because Rifles do not do great against a Panda. But either way, I'm coming in, I'm healing up my archers, I've got my Ancient of Wonder finally. I built that definitely too late. Picked up a Mana Potion, picked up a Scroll of Teleportation, going to Tier 3, and moving north. Moving north. So again, what do we know about my opponent? He's probably... Oh, there he is. So he catches my expansion attempt. He's level 2 and 2 to my level 4, so I've done well there. He's probably crept both item shops, and he has, yeah. So he's got vision all over the middle of the map. I have to be careful of that. I'm a little bit more safe now. If he runs right across, I'll be able to teleport down. I'll be able to get to my base pretty efficiently, so I'm not too worried about that. And over here, I'm just, again, clearing out a gold mine because I want to be able to expand when I have the opportunity. I don't want to have to creep it later. Also, if I can get to level 5 on my Panda, that would be absolutely massive. Level 3 Breath of Fire is just tough. And I am massing up Fairy Dragons in the back of my base. That's right, I'm not even going Hippo Riders, I'm going Fairy Dragons. So there are going to be a lot of Fairy Dragons building very quickly. They're only 155 gold each, so I'm going to be able to pump them out like it's nothing. And hopefully by the time I hit an 80 of 80 army is what I'm going for, I'll have this kind of squad of archers with a level 5 Panda and a ton of Fairy Dragons. And I want to try and catch them off guard because... Let's think about it for a second. Fairy Dragons in small numbers are not great, but if I can catch him off guard with 12, 15, 20 Fairy Dragons that he's not ready for, and his answer to the Fairy Dragons are Mortar Teams and Water Elementals, then not Mortar Teams, Riflemen and Water Elementals, my Panda, who hopefully will be at level 5, will be able to melt those. And then we start kind of getting into a weird spot because you can't use Priests and Sorceresses to deal with Fairy Dragons. He can use Water Elementals, and they're quite effective. He can use his other hero, his Blood Mage, but that's not great. He can transition into Gyrocopters, which, when it comes down to mass numbers, Gyros will definitely beat Fairy Dragons, but again, with a level 5 Panda at their back and the number advantage going into the fight, Gyros might struggle. He could go for tanks and use Barrage, but that requires a lot of tech and a lot of specific stuff, and it might work, it might kind of commit him too far in that tech direction though, because it's not like I'm stuck on Fairy Dragons. I can always just switch to Huntress, Druid of the Talon, or I can go for my Hippo Riders if I want, or I can, because I definitely have options, and the Panda does great against tanks, right? The Panda is the elf answer against tanks usually. You creep them as high as you can, and you use them to Breath of Fire Tank Caress. So I'm trying to pull it off. I know it's ballsy, I know it's a stretch, but 14 to 16 piercing damage, if I can jump in there, that's a lot of piercing damage that'll be coming his way that he won't be ready for. So I'm kind of excited about it at this point. I just wanted to finish creeping this. I don't even think I'm going to finish his gold mine because this will get me level 5. I'm sure it'll get me level 5. Got okay items here. I think these are worth selling on the Panda even if they're good. Got my health potion, my mana potion, boots of speed. I think the boots of speed are very important on a Panda. Finally hit tier 3. I'm sure I'm getting Wellsprings because I love my Wellsprings. And still more Fairy Dragons. I've broken upkeep, but because they're so cheap, you can even keep up production on 2 Ancient of Winds in low upkeep of Fairy Dragons. It's completely feasible. And now I'm going to try and force an attack again. So I come in, use my archers to hit the Arcane Tower. I see he's already teleporting, so I have to back out pretty quickly. So a lot of units there, a lot of mortar teams. He is not prepared for Fairy Dragons. That's my biggest takeaway here is he's not ready for Fairy Dragons. He's got some anti-air, he's got some priests, he's got rifles, but that's a lot of mortar teams, which are not going to be attacking my air units. Granted, was he tier 3? He'll be tier 3 soon, so he'll have shrapnel upgrades on the mortar teams, which will be catastrophic for my archers. Mortar teams with shrapnel upgrade destroy archers, but again, Panda crushes them. So yeah, I'm going to sell my 2 gloves and claws there, pick up a scroll of healing, just a better item for these big battles, especially where you have tons of small units who will be healed, like this. Got an attack upgrade on them, because I'm a tough guy. I have another engagement here. Looks like I lost 2 archers and some mana, so that didn't go well for me. I definitely didn't kill anything, because I have 0 experience, so... That put me a bit on the back foot. Again, though, I still know he hasn't expanded. I've been keeping pretty active with these 2 wisps to make sure. Coming down this way just to run away, but no. So I think my play is going to be turn back and try and force a teleport again. Because he's in the middle of the map. He has vision of this. Oh, looks like he's scouting my expo again. He's got a Zeppelin, which is kind of interesting. But I'm going to push his base. I want to try and force him to teleport home before I have to teleport home. That's the kind of race that we're playing here, and that's why I'm going to be coming in. Big breath of fire. So I get no animation, but you can see that it's doing its job. And he's coming to hit me. So he is not going to buy, or not going to teleport back like I want him to. So let's look at it. I'm at 62 of 60, consisting of, I have 6 archers, and all these fairy dragons, which he has not seen yet. He is at 50 at 60, 50 of 66, so 50. So I definitely have the advantage in terms of army size because I broke up Keep Quickly. He is level 3-3 to my level 5, so I'm probably ahead there, but like I kind of think of it also as he has 6 hero skills where I only have 5 hero. Well, he has 6 points in hero skills where I only have 5. So we're probably about even because the Panda at level 5 is so strong. But our hero levels are not too far apart. And he's got a lot of siege damage. He's got 2 upgrades on these things. I think it looks like, you know, it doesn't look completely one-sided for me or anything. The Panda's the biggest thing working in my favor at this point. We're going to go back to my vision. So he's sieging me out. I think I'm going to get another big breath of fire, kill another couple peasants, and then I'm going to teleport home. Just because I can't contend with the mortar team damage output here. And I don't want to fight without my moon walls. So I come back, and here's the engagement. So the fairy dragons are coming in. He has dropped down, he's killed 2 or 3 moonwells, he's killed an Ancient of Wind at least. Maybe some more, so I have to rebuild some moonwells. He's got the 2 water elementals out and ready to go. And let's watch this fight. Big breath of fire. I got on 3 units. I think I used my fairies to target the mortar teams first, just because I didn't want some cheesy thing happening where my structures go down. Another big breath of fire with my mana potion. And he's caught off guard completely. He's caught off guard completely. He's doing some banish here. He's trying to focus fire fairy dragons, but with phase shift, you can't focus fire fairy dragons. So he banished that rifle, I can't kill it. He's banished this one, I can't kill it. I go to this one. But I just have too many numbers. I just have too many numbers. My Panda has now hit level 6. I'm able to push him back, force a teleport. And now I'm at 48 of 40, so I lost 1 archer there, and several fairy dragons for sure. But still, I can produce way faster than he probably can. Especially if I built another Ancient of Wind at any point. And what's his transition now? Now he's aware that I've gone fairy dragons, so he can go gyrocopters or gyrocopters. We know he's got workshops. We know he's probably tier 3 by now. Yeah, he's tier 3. So that's one option. He could keep going rifles, but I feel like he's just not going to be able to produce them quickly enough, considering how many fairy dragons I'll have reproduced in 2 seconds. Like, they just build so quickly. And both of those units, again, are very vulnerable to the Panda, especially at level 6 now. I guess he could... You never Dragon Hawk. It's rifles, gyrocopters, or tanks. Those are your 3 options as a human here. And I don't think any of them are going to work for him. So I wanted to come and put some more pressure on him because I'm trying to expand. So I'm expanding in both spots, knowing full well he's scouted this one, knowing he's probably going to scout this one if he has an opportunity. So I wanted to build in both because This way, even if he's active and is able to cancel this one, then I'll have another expansion up. And again, I know he hasn't expanded, so I have the gold advantage, and if I can just lean on him from here on in, I should be able to win the game. So, over here, I see he's still in his base. He does not have a lot going on. Water elementals are great against fairy dragons, but not in these numbers. And I'm just going to try and keep the pressure on. I know so I did see those two tanks run by, so I know my Panda's going to have to go and deal with tanks at some point. I didn't want to back off because I like seeing him pinned in his base where I can try and expand to 2 places at once. Again, if he splits up 2 tanks, that's not a big deal. Clearly doesn't have barrage because he's not using them to fight my army off. Barrage would be great against fairy dragons in a fight, but then you have to get that as well. Then you're going tanks as a counter to an army. It's different. Use my ultimate, so I've got my Panda elementals in the fight, which is amazing. You don't see that all the time. Putting some damage on everything I can, but this is ultimately going to force him back, or force him to leave the game, I think. Sorry, this game was played a little over a week ago, I think, so it's been a little bit. I don't remember exactly how it ended, but this is going to be really tough for him to come back. The damage output on the Panda in this form is insane. Like the Blood Mage is just taking way too much damage. Having my Fairy Dragons chase an Archmage around, it should not be happening, but that's alright. So I easily take out the Blood Mage. I'm going to focus down this tower with my fairies. Very important point, which I forgot to touch on. My opponent had a very vulnerable base. He allowed my Panda to run in here a bit. He had an Arcane Tower way out this way. If you're against a human who has a lot of guard towers, Fairy Dragons aren't going to do anything. Fairy Dragons cannot beat human towers. But if you're against an opponent with 1 tower, you're doing alright. Important takeaway, I think. Back here, he's sieging out my main, so I'm going to have to repair it. I'm a little bit nervous. He's building a tower at my expansion. He's trying to keep me pinned. He'll try and win the game that way, because look, he has 3,200 gold left, sorry, whereas I have 18 in my main. So if he can keep us both pinned to 1 base, he'll ultimately get more gold than me over the course of the game. But I don't think it matters. So I'm leaving my archers to kind of pick away at stuff here, sending my fairy dragons and my Panda back to deal with this, and I'm not worried about it at all. 2 tanks are not going to be enough to stop me. My Tree of Eternity has survived. He gave up on it. He's got a level 4 Archmage. He manages to get 2 kills there. Is he going to get a 3rd kill? No. So he got 2 kills. But even then, what are the 2 kills going to do? So now... Oh, that's a mistake. Do I get the kill? Do I get the kill? I do not. So I'm just going to let this tower go up. I'm going to let him kind of fiddle around here. I don't care. Tanks are the priority, and I know they're going to my expansion. And now, because I did that double expand, I've been able to get this one up. If I had only done a single expansion, it would have fallen, and we'd be in a much more tight position. But, again, because I split up, or because I expanded to 2 spots, I forced him to split up his army in order to deal with both expansions, and now I'm going to be able to get this one up comfortably. So I leave my Panda to kill this tank. He does it no problem at all, especially once I pick up some extra mana from the Moon Wells. Tanks are not that big a deal for a Panda once he's got level 3 Breath of Fire. Yeah, big Breath of Fire. I know that he's going to be coming this way. My archers are here. I'm trying to take out the castle, but his hero comes back to defend, and now I'm just going to throw away some more fairy dragons. So they're super squishy. You have to be really on top of them in order to make it work. You really have to have a numbers advantage in order to make it work. But because I did have such a numbers advantage and element of surprise, I was able to completely overwhelm it. Here we go. He gets my gold mine, but still not enough. I now have an Orbit Venom as well. That tank's going down quickly. Got a couple fairies hiding here, hiding my archers here. I want to kill the castle, but I'm pretty confident at this point that the game is over. I still know my opponent has not expanded unless he's over here, so I'm sure my Panda is going to be going in that direction right now. And other than that, there's nothing he can do. He's got no more income.
Our warriors have engaged.
He uses a reveal, so he's going to get a couple picks. He got a level 5 Archmage finally. I use my Staff of Teleportation on a archer while he's there focus firing, so that's kind of a waste on my part. But ultimately, it doesn't matter. He is not going to be able to stop me. Where's my panda? There he is. I'm going to speed it up a little bit, guys. I don't want to bore you with anything. No expansion. Saw no expansion over here with my fairy dragons again. He uses another reveal and gets another archer pick, but he is way too strapped for gold to be spending 50 to use reveal. Big breath of fire, putting damage on the hero and all the water elementals. There's just nothing you can do anymore. Good game, he calls. So, and there's the win. So it was fun. Maybe not like the most competitive game in the world. I understand I went Fairy Dragons first, but it was kind of fun. It's something I've experimented with a lot in the past, actually. I really like going Fairy Dragon Mass against humans. I've tried it with a lot of different strategies. I've done it with the Warden first. I've done it with Demon Hunter. I've tried it with, a Priestess Bluff. I think Panda might be the strongest just because if you're doing this, you need to get a lot of archers early, and if you're getting a lot of archers early, if you're doing this, you need to have a substantial army in order to push your opponent back in the early to mid game. So you need to get a lot of archers because, fairy dragons, when you have two of them, are not contributing much to your army whatsoever. So you need to be able to make up for that lack of damage output with archers. And if you're going for an abnormally high amount of archers, I feel like Panda's kind of a good hero to go with him because he counteracts the biggest weaknesses the archers have in defend and just in general large amounts of units. The Panda's good at dealing with that. And then once the breakers start coming in, we didn't see breakers this game, but breakers, sorceresses, and priests do not do well against mass fairy dragons if you can surprise them with 10, 12, 15 fairy dragons. So it was fun. Thank you for watching. Let me know what you think. Questions, comments, and criticisms are of course welcome. And either way, have a great rest of your day.